This podcast is a part of the PodMania Podcasting Network. Check out podmania.co.uk to check out more of our great podcasts, features, reviews, match ratings and previews spanning the crazy and diverse world of professional wrestling.
Hello, my name is Simon Miller from What Culture Wrestling, and you are listening to the PodMania Pro Wrestling Podcast, and you better keep listening to it. Why? Here's why.
You're listening to the PodMania Pro Wrestling Podcast, a sample of the best pro wrestling podcasts we can produce on our tiny budget. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Podcast Addict, CastBox, and all other podcast platforms. If it's wrestling you want, check out more of our great content at podmania.co.uk. Let's do this.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the PodMania Podcast, This Week in Wrestling. I'm your host, Rob Good, and I'm joined, as always on these things, by Chris O'Brien and Garth Jackson. How are we, boys?
I bent my Wookiee.
You bent your...
what?
What?
Wait, how come fucking you guys judge me for not understanding your fucking obscure film references? Or like when you're talking about football, but I make a Simpsons reference. And none of you get it.
Don't fucking murmur it and we'll hear it.
But I bent my Wookiee.
You bent your Wookiee.
Bent my Wookiee.
What series are we talking here?
This is early fucking Simpsons.
I know, but how early? Black Smithers early or...
No, that's only for one season, and quite frankly, does season one even count as for Simpsons? Let's be real, like season one, there's one good episode.
I was there, it counts.
Garth was there for the rise of communism, the fall of communism.
I was there for the Berlin Wall coming down.
And the Berlin Wall going up. You were there for the revolution to create Soviet Russia, and then Gorbachev breaking down the walls for Soviet Russia. You were there for the Gold Rush Trio.
A long time ago in a galaxy far away.
Lou Prize versus Kyle Gotch in the Tokyo Dome, not the Tokyo Dome, in the Alamo, in the Sportatorium in Dallas, Texas.
Which is why you should listen when I talk.
Hundreds of years of experience.
Age doesn't always create wisdom. I mean, like my brother's five minutes older than me, and he's a fucking idiot.
Garth, how are you?
All right.
See, that's all it needs, Chris. Just an all right, mate.
Just just cracking on.
Just getting on with life, mate.
Some wrestling.
Well, actually,
to be fair, it's this week's been pretty fucking depressing.
Yeah.
It's like it speaks volumes, but normally when we get on, we talk for 20 minutes about what we're going to talk about, but like we just avoided what we were going to talk about this week and just talked about the PlayStation 2, Pulp Fiction, and I forgot what the other thing we talked about was, but it was something.
Yeah, it's not been the nicest week by any stretch of the imagination. Let's just dive straight in and talk about obviously these first couple of things. Obviously, on Sunday, it was reported that Shad Gaspard and his 10-year-old son had gone swimming at Venice Beach in Los Angeles. Him, his son, and several other swimmers were caught in a riptide. Lifeguards went out to get the people back, got to Gaspard, and he said to go and rescue his son first, go and find his son first. They did rescue his son, but unfortunately, by the time they got back to Gaspard, a wave had taken him under. An extensive search couldn't find his body. Then it was reported on Wednesday morning that a body matching his description had been found on the beach, and it has obviously been confirmed as his body, dying at the age of 39 years old. This was absolutely horrendous. Just the not knowing, and yeah, just absolutely awful. The outpouring of support for him and his family from every walk of life has been absolutely amazing. And there's obviously never the right time or anything like that, but to die a hero, which is the way that he has passed, unfortunately, saving his son, being that hero, he is remembered in a fantastic, fantastic way. But yeah, it's awful news, and it shook everyone. It's it's horrendous.
Yeah. It was the fact it was like drawn out. I think that made it a bit worse, because the news was he went missing. Then the news was there's a search. His son was saved. Blah blah. So that obviously every day everybody's looking for updates, and then when they stopped the official searches, you kind of sort of knew, but they didn't have any body, and then they found the body, and it's pretty sad. Because by all accounts, he was a genuinely nice bloke. Went out of his way to help people. He'd done all sorts of stuff, sort of charity wise, outside of wrestling. He even stopped a guy from robbing a store with a gun. He disarmed him and stuff.
He used to be a bodyguard, didn't he?
For all intents and purposes, from everyone that has spoken, he just sounds like the most down-to-earth, loving man. There's not one person, even obviously before all this, I never heard anything bad about this man. And JTG posted on Twitter a text message that Shad had texted him back in January of this year, and it's horrible foreshadowing about, even after I'm gone, I'm going to love you, man, and stuff like that. And it really is horrendous. There's not a lot more to say, unfortunately. No. There's no jokes to be made, obviously. This is horrendous, and yeah, rest in peace, Shad. This was then compounded by the passing of Larry Csonka from 411 Mania, who I didn't know personally, but I don't think there's a single wrestling fan from the internet who hasn't read one of his reviews on 411 Mania. The man was an absolute just machine. He pumped out review after review after review on seemingly every single promotion, on every single wrestling show, and done with good humour, and legitimately got me into wanting to review wrestling. I was reading his reviews far and away before I started this, so I do consider him to be a little bit of an inspiration for what I do on this podcast. But he leaves behind 2 children. I know that earlier this year, the end of last year, he lost, I don't know whether it was part of his leg or his entire leg, and I know he'd been rehabbing that. No details have been given about his death, and I'm not going to speculate. I don't think it's right that we speculate. But I did just want to say that there is a GoFundMe for him, because he does leave behind 2 daughters and a wife. And I know that he was incredibly popular. They've already raised over half of what the target was. So yeah, if you do have any spare change, and again, I don't think there is a single wrestling fan who hasn't read one of his reviews. If you can spare some money, the link is in the description for this podcast. So yeah, go and contribute if you can. Let's move on then, guys. Obviously, really sad start to this week and to this podcast. Awful news on both counts. 2 other releases from the WWE this week. Let's start with Drew Gulak, who wrestled what was, by all accounts, an absolutely fantastic match against Daniel Bryan in the Intercontinental Championship tournament. And then...
Well, it was half as good as their match at Elimination Chamber, then it's a winner.
Well, we didn't see Daniel Bryan's bollocks, so is it as good? Is it as good?
I mean, I would argue that any match is improved by Daniel Bryan's genitals. Honestly, that 5-star classic he had with Murashima in Ring of Honor, if he got his dick out, would be the best match ever. But so yeah, obviously they had that match. They shook hands at the end, and it seemed to be
it just seemed to be two people congratulating each other on a fantastic match, and obviously it came out the next day that Gulak had been released, and everyone was very, very confused. Obviously, this man, it wasn't like he wasn't being used.
He was in a stable?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he was in a tag team with Brian.
Yeah. You know, he was actually getting a lot more focused than he was when he was on 205 Live, but apparently he wasn't... WWE didn't release him, he just didn't renew his contract. Apparently, he wanted more money, and the WWE didn't match that, which is baffling when you think about it. Absolutely ridiculous when you consider the multi-million-dollar contracts they've thrown out to people.
We're going to be talking about a lot of WWE skimping on this podcast.
If this was any other time, I think they would have just given it.
Yeah,
to keep them away from AEW.
1,000,000,000%. Yeah, absolutely.
But the thing is, do you think he'd fit in AEW? Because obviously the next question is...
Well, he's got loads of friends there, hasn't he?
He has got friends because, he was on the indie scene, but like AEW... it's really hard to put this without sounding wanky, but Drew Gulak works an unbelievably subtle style, like a Zack Sabre Jr. style, Daniel Bryan. Does that fit in AEW? Can you call any match AEW has ever had subtle?
I think you can. I think you can, yeah, absolutely. I think if you
put
him in
with.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you put him in the ring with Omega, Hangman Page, Sammy Guevara, even someone like, I know this is a really ridiculous thing to say, even someone like a Kip Sabian, someone who can work, someone who can go, he will have fantastic matches against them. And I think
my main issue is that AEW have too many people already.
They do, They do have a bloated roster, but when are you going to have the opportunity to sign someone who is as good in the ring as Gulak is, who is as good on the mic as Gulak is? You go back to those PowerPoints.
I miss... that is what's missing from wrestling nowadays, is those PowerPoint front. I just like those characters who I'd literally just say... completely against all the kinds of characters in the rest of the promotion. Like, for example, I'm watching through Progress right now, and Mikey Whiplash uses real name Michael Gilbert with no gimmicks required, and he's just going up against Eddie Dennis, who puts on like a Rey Mysterio mask, or Madman Monson, who basically is just the Deadpool of wrestling. Literally, he was in the fucking armbar and was shouting, fuck, I don't know any counters.
To be honest, I can't see anyone that wouldn't have a good match with Drew Gulak. I think AEW is obviously the first place you would consider him going, but I think he'd be great in an Impact, a Ring of Honor, even in Japan. I think he'd be absolutely phenomenal. The sky is the limit for someone as good as he was.
Imagine him in Super Junior. He's like a Jonathan Gresham type, which Super Juniors needs more of, really. Especially since Super Juniors lost so many bodies.
Yeah, I think I think he could be the top guy in a promotion like Impact or Ring of Honor, because he has got the charisma to go with his fantastic in-ring style. I mean, for so long, he was literally one of the only standouts of 205 Live. And in a company where they've literally stripped everything back of characters. I mean, look at Jack Gallagher, for God's sake. The only thing you can now say about Jack Gallagher is, what the fuck is that tattoo?
Is it the worst tattoo in wrestling right now? No. I mean, apart from like Hulk Hogan's Immortal.
Cody's.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
I had forgotten about Cody's.
I'm going to put this out there.
To remind you.
I'm going to put this out there. I think Gallagher's is worse.
Gallagher's is bigger, but like he could put on a shirt and hide it.
It's like when you go to like the pound shop or something, or B&M, and you get those like Schneider wrestling figures.
Yeah,
that would be him if it was Conor McGregor.
Mom, can I get a Conor McGregor? No, we have a Conor McGregor at home. But Conor McGregor at home.
Do you know what he looks like? He looks like literally a creator character on WWE 2K. And you get those shit tattoos that you can put on like the arms that look ridiculously fake. That's what that looks like. It looks like someone's drawn on him in permanent marker. It is abhorrent. At least Cody's is unique. It's dog shit, but at least it's unique. This is awful. I can't see, and it's so fucking big. It's just Jack Gallagher's not a big lad either. It takes up the majority of his body. Oh, just atrocious.
I miss old Jack Gallagher with the umbrella and the and tying people in knots. I miss that. But
exactly.
It was a more innocent time.
It was. Moving on from Drew Gulak, also released was daughter of Legion of Doom manager and author of Pain manager Paul Ellering, Rachel Ellering, was released to little to no fanfare. When the actual release took place, I don't think people are fully aware. It could have happened when Deonna Purrazzo and people like that were released. But it is just coming to light this week. Apparently, she complained about WWE medical procedures, and that apparently led to her release.
God. Complaining about negligence, how fucking dare she?
Well, this is also in the time when Nikki Bella is also complaining about the WWE's handling of her neck injury. So,
CM Punk said what we can only assume is the truth considering how the court case went, and then they sued him. What we need to, and we'll talk about it in a later on topic, but when WWE get called out on their bullshit, they're so petty. So petty. And
the problem they got is there's so many people lining up to protect them and to sort of defend them.
Oh, definitely. You'll see the same fucking, the best way I can put it as weird, this is removed from the, this is completely removed from the concussion protocols or whatever. The way people always, I can best put it is you don't see AEW fans bitching when there's a takeover, but you see NXT fans bitching when there's an AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I think AEW fans know that takeovers are just fun wrestling anyway, so we'll tune in for the takeover. Whereas AEW, NXT fans will be sitting there going, well, I'm not watching it, but I'm sure it's shit. And it's just, there's this one guy who's on the PodMania, who always turns up on PodMania Twitter. I won't say his name because then Rob's told me off for calling people out on this podcast. But he's so fucking annoying and I hate him. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, honestly, that's true. That's so shit.
I'm sorry, how did you get onto that from where we were? I'm so confused of that tangent. That literally came out of nowhere.
It's like you haven't been podcasting with me for 2 years.
It's like, what the fuck? Oh. We were talking about medical protocols, and then you went off on NXT fans. It literally didn't correlate at all.
And any chance to have a dig.
It is. Just... Honestly, Chris, I will give you a segment if you want where you can moan about the Wrestling Collective, but you've got to choose a better segue than that.
Okay, screeching back to Rachel Evers. Did you ever see her wrestle?
No, I didn't.
I don't think I ever saw one match.
She was in Mae Young, and she was all right, actually. Then again, it's easy to stand out in Mae Young because half the field are, that's their first matches. People like Casey Catanzaro or that girl from India, I forgot the name of, that they clearly have potential, but definitely shouldn't have been in.
The thing is, if it is because of that, it's fucking stupid. But if it's because of cost cutting and the fact that she didn't wrestle, what's the point?
In terms of cost cutting, it's still stupid. We discussed this a couple of weeks ago.
Aye, but if you've got someone on your payroll who is literally doing nothing, I mean, I don't ever remember hearing her name come up or anything. So
no, exactly. But the only time I ever heard of it was I think she got engaged to Chris Hero. So
there you go.
I think the chances are, and again, this is pure speculation. What I think has probably happened is she hasn't exactly put herself in the good graces of the WWE by complaining about their medical protocols. Hence, when releases have come about, she's obviously at the forefront of their minds for someone to get rid of. I am not saying that is right. I'm not saying that is even what happened. That's how I see it. As for seeing a wrestle, I've never seen a wrestle. I know that Meltzer is very high on her. And said, pretty much has alluded to the fact that she's going to walk into any other company. So, I mean, again, we go to
I mean, she's good from what I've
AEW,
seen, but like,
who have got
I
an
haven't
absolutely awful women's division.
well, that's the thing about AEW. We'll get into this when we're talking about Double or Nothing in a bit, but their women's division isn't bad, but it's the main issue they've had is they built it too much around Joshi's, which now that Corona's hit and there's travel bans means half the women's division stuck in Japan, and B, they just don't book it properly. Kenny Omega isn't a booker.
Well, we'll have a look at that in a minute when we, like I say, when we go through the Double or Nothing predictions. But
I do think she, like, from what I've seen, she's good, but like, I guess it's just a case of I haven't seen enough. Like, I haven't watched NXT weekly in months, so.
No, I know that obviously the same with a lot of these. They're on the house show loop, but again, I can't honestly, hand on heart, say I've seen a Rachel Ellering match. But yeah, Drew Gulak and Rachel Ellering released from the WWE. We wish them all the best in their future endeavours. Speaking of fucking hell, this week has been depressing. Earlier this week, Garth, we're not going to spend much time on this because obviously we'll talk about it more on the Stardom cast, Chris, but earlier on this week, current Wonder of Stardom champion Arisa Hoshiki has announced her retirement. She came back in late 2018, early 2019.
Yeah, she basically came back just before the Cinderella last year.
Yeah.
I think.
Put on some absolute barnstormers again, got everyone talking, and unfortunately has ended up with an injury. Yeah. Apparently, according to Twitter, if you read the Stardomcast Twitter feed, that's pretty much the same for quite a lot of fans who've said she's one of the main reasons I'm into Stardom. So it's a huge loss for Stardom. Obviously, I know she has her girl band, so hopefully they go on to do really good things. She had
Unlimited Dream Navigator, but not even on Spotify. Like, what the fuck? But go on.
I hope that there are good things.
Hard to stand her when they're not on Spotify. She is. It's such a lot. She's only 24. I mean, like, that's an eighth of Garth's age, and no, like. See, like, when I first got into Stardom, it was around a year ago, actually. I was watching through some of the more recent shows, and I was enjoying it, but, like, it wasn't grabbing me in the same, like, in, like, that guttural way. And then I saw the match with her versus Tam, and I was like, oh my god, I get it now. And, yeah, there's so many matches, like her Hazuki match, her Jungle Kiona match, which is one of my matches of the year last year. And even beyond that, she was telling like good stories in a match. Like, it wasn't like she was just flashy kicks. Like, she was slowly descending into madness as she was going through other people in the 5-star, which sort of reared its head at the Utami match from earlier this year, where she was ripping Utami's head off of the mat to finish her off. And it's like, she's great. And then, like, when she got injured, like, people like. They kept it really quiet, which is never a good sign. Like, she was very quietly taken off of the No People Gate show, and then she hasn't been since. And people were just assuming it's like a normal injury, but like, according to her statement, she's been working hurt for like almost a year now. And I'm like, you're crazy.
Well, unfortunately, that seems to be the case for a lot of wrestlers, where because if they don't work, they don't get paid.
Yeah. It sucks. Apparently, it was gonna, like, for the 10th anniversary show next year, they were gonna keep Arisa and Mayu champions. That was gonna be the match for the anniversary show.
I can think of worse main events.
No, I think that would probably be one of the best matches in Stardom history.
On top of Arisa, obviously we haven't seen Ember Moon in a considerable amount of time. She's been injured for a large portion of 2019-2020. She appeared on Backstage on Tuesday, and they asked her about her injury. But she has admitted that it could be severe enough to force her into early retirement. This is the actual statement. I look back at my career in WWE. I've been here 5 years. Yeah, I could say I should have been the one to defeat Asuka Streak, or I hope that. I could say that me and Bayley from SummerSlam, I should have done more. The more and more I sit back and look at everything I've done and would redo, I think about my injury currently. realizing that I may have a career-ending injury. I'm coming back from the hardest injury and I might not have a chance to redeem myself of all the things I wanted to do and I want to do in my future. It's so hard to think back and regret when I try to look forward. I keep looking forward and pushing forward because this is what I love. This is my passion. This is the only thing I've ever wanted for myself. And I want that opportunity to not look back, but to look forward and be better than ever before. It's so hard to look back. It really is. I hope that I do have more matches. I'm going to prove to you guys that I'm worth redeeming those mistakes and those regrets. It's just going to be a while before I think I can do so. That's on Fightful. If she does retire, that's an enormous blow for the WWE. I mean, she has been in ring, she is great, but the WWE, again, have completely ballsed up her character, and it's actually NXT are to blame here as well, which I very rarely say.
Oh, NXT took away so much of the mystique of her when, because I understand we wanted to keep Asuka's streak going, but don't build this is the girl to be Asuka's streak if you're not going to do it.
Not only that, and I don't necessarily mind that, it's the case where they couldn't quite decide how mysterious should be. So you've got one day where she's coming out, she's got the contact lenses in, she's got the smoke, she's got the mystery, and then the next she's cutting A-level drama promos in an empty arena. So they seem to not quite understand what to do with her character, and obviously if creative don't know what to do with your character, how the hell is she supposed to know? Like I've said, I mean, this is talking years and years ago when me and Garth were doing NXT reviews. We both said about how good Ember Moon was in the ring, but we couldn't fucking work out what she was supposed to be. You know,
she's she didn't even have proper promos or anything.
No, exactly. she was basically a finisher. That's all she was.
What a finisher, though.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, it's such a shame if this is the case, because she has been off TV for absolutely ages, and in that time she's been she's had one title match, and that was against Bayley, and let's face it, that was not a good match. But I mean, you said Arisa was 24, Ember Moon's 31, so I mean, she's not old by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, be serious, she's a year older than me. But
oh yeah, you're 30 now.
I am 30 now, yeah. How much longer has she got working at that pace, working at that hard tour? It's an Achilles injury.
Because remember last time she got injured, it was Nia.
Of course it was.
Because of course, I don't think there's a single main eventer who Nia hasn't injured at this point.
She's yet to do anything that impresses me, let's put it that way.
I think the only person she hasn't injured is Asuka, and that's because Asuka would probably actually kick the shit out of her.
Did she injure Charlotte? Has she injured Charlotte?
Yeah, she did. She dropped twice in one match. She had dropped Charlotte on her head and then didn't catch her on a moonsault. And I'm like, I'm not being funny. You had one job to catch someone half your size, and you didn't.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Going back to Ember Moon, though, if she does retire, like I said, that's a huge loss for the WWE, because even though, as we've stated, they've had no idea how to use her character, she is a very, very good worker, and she'll be more than capable of having great, great matches against the likes of Charlotte, like Sasha Banks, like Bayley. Her match at SummerSlam aside, we think we could put that down to a dud. She had a great match with Asuka. She had a great match second time round with Shayna Baszler. So, she's a good in-ring worker, and it's a shame if this happens. Fingers crossed. Obviously, it might not. It might not cause injury, but for her to admit that it could be, that's not good. Moving on, and I think this is probably, aside from Double or Nothing, this is probably the happiest thing on the podcast today. The Undertaker, The Last Ride, episode 2. Jesus Christ, it's been a dour podcast today, hasn't it?
You know what the second biggest thing is? A documentary about one of the biggest stars in wrestling breaking down.
Exactly. Obviously, episode 2 Redemption dropped on Sunday, I believe. I know me and Garth have definitely watched it. Have you watched it, Chris, now?
No, I was too busy watching Pulp Fiction.
Oh, okay, fair enough then. We'll lay you off because that is a very good film. So obviously, where we left off with episode 1, Taker had just had his match with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 33. And we picked up literally at that point. Garth, I know that you're hugely high on this series, so I'll let you talk us through it.
Just the more it goes on, the more you completely not understand why he didn't retire. It shows you him watching the match, and he's just sort of wincing at the fact he's like, look, I'm so immobile, I'm so overweight, I can't move, I need to redeem myself. And he goes off and gets his is it his hip or his knee?
His knee, I think. No, he gets a hip replacement. Gets his hip replaced.
Yeah, because obviously he's like hobbling around like an old man, but then he gets that done, and he's standing up straight, and he's walking around pretty much straight away. And that's when he gets the ring out from the WWE, and that's when he starts moving. And you see him in the ring when he's running the ropes and stuff. Haven't seen him do that for years. And it kind of sort of, you totally understand his mindset following that. I want to get back and I want to have another match. And he's quite candid through it. When he's talking like Michelle McCool and saying how they ended up together because she could throw a football and just daft shit like that.
That was hilarious.
And I think we're at the point now where obviously he's protected this character and this mystique for so long, and now he's winding down. He's opening the doors, and because he's protected it so long, everyone's really, really sort of happy to see that he's just quite a down-to-earth, normal bloke. And it was just good. I love the fact that he went into hospital and even went into an surgery with his beanie hat on. It's like, and he's got his theme music playing.
Yeah, they have played his theme music, which is amazing.
You've done it now.
No,
that one? Oh,
no,
that's a shame. That'd have been amazing.
It was like the death march while he's being put to sleep. That's the most harrowing thing ever.
Is that as weird as when Hulk Hogan, when he was in the courtroom, filing a motion so he could wear his bandana in court?
Love it. But no, I can't wait for the next episode on Sunday because it's just really good, and it's showing the side that nobody ever saw before. Like I say, he comes across with he shows so much respect for the business and for the fans as well. He keeps on saying that he wants to do something that the fans will go away and think that's great, and he's earned his money sort of thing. I tell you what was weird, fucking Vince. Jesus Christ, that guy's a fucking animal. Where they go for a meeting, and Vince is like, Vince is at the gym. How old's Vince? 70 odd.
70 odd, yeah.
And
I'll look this up.
And he's absolutely pumped because he's just come from the gym, and it's just like fucking hell. And even then, when they're sort of together, and you can tell they're close. Vince is really, you can tell he's really guarded when it comes to the camera crew, and he sends them out straight away. He's
74 years old and has a net worth in 2020 of 2.1 billion.
Nice.
You don't need that much money.
It's a really good show. It's really, really good. I don't think there's a wrestling fan out there that isn't enjoying it right now.
Well, I haven't watched it, but I'm sure I'll enjoy it in 2 years when I actually sit down and watch it. I don't have a network, so
there are ways and means.
We of course do not condone those, but watch wrestling.la.
The thing I took,
did watch it.
The thing I took from it, aside from Maniac Vince, was just how much respect Taker has for Vince and vice versa. He says, and he, like you said, Garth, he speaks very candidly. I'd take a bullet for Vince. And he says it straight to the camera, and you believe him. You really do believe him. Michelle McCool says it about 4 times, just how much he sees Vince as this father figure. And they ask Vince the question, can you sort of tell us a little bit about just how much, what The Undertaker means to you? And Vince can't answer the question. He starts to cry. Yeah. And he just says, you're going to have to cut the camera, I can't answer that question. Just with tears in his eyes. And it seemed like he was already on the edge, so I don't know if this was tacked onto the end of another question, which sort of got emotions high. I don't know, but yeah, it's very, very clear that...
What's the question? How's the XFL
going? How many times have you been sued? I think...
Oh, I get sued for breakfast.
Vince... Michelle McCool says, if Vince calls, he'll go. Taker will go, and you sort of got that impression anyway. And I think without this background, it has sort of gotten to the point where you're like, come on, Taker, enough's enough. The debacle at Crown Jewel with DX, which was an absolute farce. The match with Goldberg, which was an absolute farce. And you just, as a smarky fan who's got no understanding of what's going on, you're just like, for fuck's sake, Taker, just leave it. Just leave it. But with this background and with this context, you understand. Like you said, God, he's watching this match, and it gets to the spot where, the infamous spot at Mania 33 where Reigns can't reverse the tombstone. And he's got tears in his eyes. He's got tears in his eyes watching this match. He's tearing himself apart.
I think with that as well, it's not as much. It's not. I don't even think it's. I'm really bad. It's like he feels really bad for Reigns.
He says that about 4 or 5 times, and he actually apologises to Reigns backstage at Mania 34. And you can just see Roman Reigns like, what are you talking about? You're The Undertaker. It wasn't a bad match. What are you talking about? And he's really taken aback.
What's super weird is that match because he essentially just, Reigns ended up putting away Taker pretty handily. And then that makes him the biggest heel in wrestling. And then the next night they booked it to perfection. He just came out, the crowd booed him for like 5 minutes, and he went, "This is my yard now," and walked off. And then they made him face again, and it's like, what the fuck, WWE? Like, why can't you quit him?
I think the next one looks really good because they're going to talk about the Super Showdown and the other one, and the little clip that's at the say where they're all just, it wasn't great. And the thing with the Goldberg thing, but Michelle McCool alludes to the fact that he's never going to stop because he's always going to want a better match.
It's it's an addiction, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm enjoying now of what I'm hearing from this is the difference between someone like Taker and someone like Goldberg. Whereas like Taker's sort of trying to book himself where he can be in a match, but also like he can at least try and put someone over, like go out on your back. And whereas Goldberg allegedly the last Saudi show was like, right, well, fuck your current booking plans. I am going over.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing,
because I Goldberg am the all conquering Superman.
I can't remember if it's this episode or if it's the last one where he says I'd love to have a match with AJ.
It's this one. It's this one. He's backstage at the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And he just says that's someone that gets it.
Mm-hmm. I'd love to have a match with him.
Yeah.
And then he did.
Foreshadowing. Yeah, it's. I agree with what you're saying, Garth, about the difference, and I think it highlights the difference between... sorry, Chris, not Garth. It highlights the difference between someone who has been in the industry, loves the industry, and, would effectively do anything to protect the integrity of the industry and The Undertaker, and someone who is, let's face it, is there for a payday in Goldberg. I mean, I'm not saying this is true of every American football player that goes into the WWE, but that wasn't, wrestling wasn't his first career choice, No, but I think
with a lot of football players, when we get there, they start, like, for example, AJ didn't watch wrestling growing up, and he...
Rock.
No,
yeah.
like...
Reigns.
a lot of them just... But, like, you look at someone like, for example, big football players right now are Corbin and Roman, And say what we want about Corbin, he's pro wrestling. He's sports entertainment as fuck.
Oh, he's through and through. And again, like you said, Chris, say what you want about him. He's there every week. And he's putting on matches, whether they're any good or not. It's beside the point. That Elias one this
really
week.
hard, you guys.
That Elias one this week was fucking dreadful. And it lasted 15 minutes.
You're still watching?
No, I watched the highlights. I watched the highlights.
I gave him the highlights a year ago because I'm like, if I want to be unhappy for half an hour, I just
wank.
Well, that's just unhappy for like 5 minutes afterwards. But why did I say that? Continue.
Let's move on from The Undertaker then. Obviously, the next episode drops on Sunday. Speaking of new episodes, Jesus Christ.
You rang?
This is literally everywhere. The Dark Side of the Ring season finale was aired on Tuesday on Vice. The final days of Owen Hart and Martha Hart, Owen Hart's widow, was on the Talk Is Jericho podcast as well as sort of an accompaniment for this. And for a start, this show was the highest rated show that they've done. It outdrew the Benoit show at 300 and something thousand. It got a higher rate than NXT. Just putting that out there. Not total viewers, the rate.
So in terms of the ratings, I made this comment that just came up very quickly, and so AEW got 700,000, which in like the current atmosphere is actually pretty good with no crowds. And this guy, the Cobra Undertaker, when he comments every week, he's become weirdly notorious. And it just says, God, it makes me happy seeing AEW fail, imagining that for a go-home show. And then you're sort of like, wasn't the Raw before Mania one of the lowest rated Raws?
I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah. So, obviously, it got a lot of buzz, generated a lot of buzz. And it was one of those episodes, and this has been the case for many of them, but this one especially for me. This was one of those episodes where I needed it to be longer than 40 minutes. I desperately wanted it to be longer than 40 minutes. The Talk Is Jericho podcast, so let's start with that, where Martha Hart is talking to Jericho. Jericho, who is a self-proclaimed obsessive of Owen Hart. You know, the picture that he drew of him and Owen from Stampede did the rounds on Twitter.
That's and adorable.
It's amazing. And it was put on the Dark Side of the Ring episode. But it's on the podcast they talk about the good times with Owen. Talk about, because obviously Martha has spent a lot of time talking about his death on the Dark Side of the Ring. And this is something completely different, which I thought was really, really good. And you actually get to see a completely different side of Owen through the podcast episode. I mean, Jericho is a relatively underrated interviewer. I think his podcasts are always very, 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 very good. You get a lot of information out of them.
He had a problem in the beginning where he kept interrupting someone's story with, well, this is what happened to me, and it would never be all that relevant.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, now he doesn't. I haven't listened to this, but I heard you two raving about it earlier in the week.
Garth, what did you think?
It was really sort of eye-opening in the fact that a lot of the information that's in this didn't make it to the dark side. So listen to them as like a companion piece. Gives you quite a sort of broad view of everything, because she goes more into detail on the sort of aftermath and the court and stuff like that, whereas the dark side is literally like the lead up and stuff like that to Owen's death. But I thought it was good. It was really hard. It was really hard listening, and when she starts talking about how much he would spend time for the fans and he loved the fans and he would let the fans give him a ride.
He'd stop at the fans' houses.
And stop at the houses and stay for tea and stuff, because he was
a saver.
Well, he knew what it meant to them, and he knew they weren't going to cause any harm. And then Chris Jericho even says after he died, people were still turning up, not knowing what to do, saying, "Hey, Joe, come and give you a lift to the next show and stuff." And it's just like, and he says it. That the funny thing was, he says that was like Owen's like final rib on the boys. Was having all these fans turn up after shows, trying to get them to come to their houses and just. And I think you see, I mean, together with the show, you see a side of Owen that obviously nobody saw before, and you can tell the way she talks about them and stuff. I mean, obviously there's loads of, I mean, this is however many years now, built up against the WWE, and she said she's kind of sort of made amends with him a little bit, but he's still never going in the Hall of Fame. They're never going to be allowed to use him in any of their products or anything like that. So, and you kind of understand it when you listen to it. Like, look, I mean, the amount of people that have had, like, commenting on things and say, "Oh, she just did it for the money. She did it for the money." It's like, well, if she did, why didn't she just take the settlement that they offered her? And the retort is because she wanted more. It's like, no, she doesn't. She wants somebody to take the actual responsibility and just say, "Look." I mean, Vince had said sorry, but it's an empty apology. It's the one answers to why you did this and why you did that, and it's just like I say, the podcast was a little bit more. It was a lot more lighthearted than the TV show. That's for sure.
Correct. But I've actually, like, since last time we talked about Dark Side, have watched most of the second season. And like, it's normally hard viewing. Like, I was talking about like how completely in contrast it is to the Wrestlers Vice's other documentary, which is basically a celebration of all things wrestling and how important it is. And then every episode of Dark Side basically ends, and wrestling killed this man. And this documentary made me so filled with so many emotions. Should we just skip to the headliner of the harness release? Was designed to release on pressure.
Yeah,
they got this to save time or money, whatever. There's no valid reason to have a harness release that's designed to release with pressure.
Yeah, not even that. They'd done all the rehearsals, like, and everything. Every time they'd done this, they'd done it with carabiners. And anyone that's done climbing or exactly, if you've done climbing or anything like that, you know that carabiners can withstand a ridiculous amount of pressure. We say it to the kids when we take them on residentials, and we've got them climbing, and they're like, "This won't hold my weight." And the thing is, it's something like, it can hold something like a minibus, and it can hold it without snapping. Mm-hmm. And that's really, really important.
And it's the only thing you should ever use for something like this. Like, to put it in perspective, they use them on walls that are 15 feet high with a massive crash mat that no one, like, no healthy person would at all be seriously injured from. This man was 80 feet above a 20 by 20 ring.
And with a fucking harness up.
With it, like, why did they change it? And like, they promised him, apparently, like, they had the best people in LA, clearly brought in from LA. They clearly fucking didn't, if they were using a fishing hook, essentially. And...
well, they even said the guy who rigged it had no experience, had no place doing that. I mean, fucking hell, it's like, I mean, they talk about negligence. It's like
gross negligence,
massive workplace negligence.
Like, I'm not being funny. It's something like that. Like, I understand it for, like, and it's not like WWE have used harnesses so many times. We used it like 3 or 4 years before with Shawn Michaels coming into. I'm sure he wouldn't have been given one, but because we just saw Owen Hart as a jobber, they're like, fuck it, we'll save the money.
If this was
time or whatever.
If this was any other profession or anything like that, somebody would have been made accountable.
If this was any other business, it would have sank that business. And we say this about I'm not being funny. In the fucking 80s, WWE dealt drugs. In the 90s, they have so many wrestlers' blood in their hands, both indirectly, in this case, very much directly. And then in the 2000s, their toxic culture wound up with a double murder-suicide. So how? Like, just how do they survive? Because you can't say it enough. It's designed to release on pressure, and it's not how. And like, what got me, and it's super weird way it got me because of if you were to talk to me, you know what I'm like. But when Jim Cornette was welling up, because apparently the last thing Owen shouted while he was falling was "Look out!"
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, seeing Jim Cornette, we all know Jim Cornette loves to shout and scream as pretty much usually as a work. But this was not a fucking work. You could tell he was genuinely
he was crying,
pissed. He was angry and he was sad at the same time.
What got me as well is the aftermath. Like, for example, like poor Jim Ross, because
fucking hell,
like
man.
They kept telling him to give updates, but they weren't giving him updates. So it was like, we're gonna give you updates as soon as we can. And then like he was like literally apparently what happened, and JR has literally no reason to lie, right? And apparently what happened, Kevin Dunn goes, he's dead. You need to tell everyone. You're going live in 10, 9, 8. And that's disgusting. That's disgusting. Like, how did the show go on?
Well, that's one of the things I wrote down when I was watching it was why and how the fuck did this thing go ahead?
I remember
there's no reason.
I always put this down to a gross accident, but now I know it's essentially negligence. It's even worse. And then they skipped to the courtroom where Vince McMahon was just being a right cunt.
Well, it was
like,
the whole "I don't appreciate your tone" sort of thing. She's like, "Hang on a minute, I'm asking you a fucking question about someone's death."
Blood. We're asking questions about someone who definitely their blood is on your hands and on your mat, which you didn't even fucking clean.
That's another thing where obviously like because they're talking like D'Lo Brown's on there talking and he's quite upset but then they're saying like people had to go out and have him. And the way he fell, he broke the ring, so there was a dip in that corner. How the fuck?
Well, of course you broke the ring.
You get thrown into that corner. A, you're going to potentially injure yourself anyway. B, you're stepping literally on someone's deathbed. How, like, sure, like, even in the past, they've had instances where if there's blood on the mat, they've changed the mat. Like, if you're going to do that, you need to at least, like, wipe that shit from the immediate memory.
I'm not being funny. Like, I've been to indie shows where people have gotten injured and they've cleared the entire thing. It's like, right, the show will probably continue, but like everyone outside, so the ambulance crew can get in. And it's like, how the fuck is like literally little British indie feds more professional than
how can I mean as horrible as the death is in the family and that, I can't imagine what was going through the minds of his friends and the people he worked with having to go in and do matches.
Jarrett, who he was close with, cut a promo, and like that got me because like Jeff Jarrett's cut a promo trying not to cry, and then Deborah's fucking behind him going, "Oh, we truly mean it." And it's like, why would you like? A, why were the family still there? And like the friends of Owen like still made to compete. And B, like the show shouldn't have gone on. Like I don't accept like the shock of it all as an answer.
Well, look at it.
It's psychopathic, sociopathic.
Look at it in comparison to Undertaker, where Undertaker got injured, and Vince skipped out from WrestleMania to go and see him in hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Vince was just like, the show goes on.
Yeah, no, it's disgusting.
And it's not a comparison because you can't compare someone's death. But there was an instance in football, Rob, you might know about David Boost.
Oh God! Oh my
where
God! Yeah,
it was
that injury.
Coventry versus Man United.
Is that the one where his leg came off the bone?
It snapped.
Oh Christ!
His leg literally, like his shin snapped, and he lost inches off his leg. And
it's the most horrendous football injury. It's
during the match, that happens, and you see players physically walk the side of the pitch and they're sick, and they know what's happened. They know this guy's done, it's finished, and then they still have to come and finish the game. But what they do is they just play out a draw where they're all so still in shock, and respect-wise, they're just passing the ball between each other. Nobody's really going for it.
Well, that's the thing. No one on that shit. Like, no one talks about Over the Edge other than the own thing, because like Of course, the show wasn't good afterwards. So many wrestlers were in mourning.
Exactly, and it's what like we mentioned, like we spoke before. It was like not one single fan on that in that arena would have said, "Fuck you, I want this to go on," if they knew what was happening.
Like, and the ones who did, it would be like, fuck it. Like, basically, the show went on because WWE didn't want to hand out refunds, which they'd be legally obliged to do, and it's like, that's disgusting.
Just it was such. I mean, the actual show itself was like excellent and well done and quite respectful. But
they're really well put together documentaries.
I tell you what, hit it really, really, really did hit hard was well, there's two. There's where they go up onto the gantry and they're looking down. It's like, fuck me, that's high.
Yeah.
And the bit where the lads, like his son, is talking about when she had to sit them down and tell them, and both those kids are exactly the same age as my kids are. They were at the time, and Owen was just a couple of years younger than me. It's like, fucking hell, like, imagine having to tell my kids that. And it's just horrible. And the fact that you see how good he is with them and how much he loves them, and how the worst thing about it was he wasn't what they would call a lifer. He wanted to get out.
He was basically going, like, when I'm 40, I'm gone.
I'm done, and I'm. Yeah, I mean,
because that's why he was so frugal with his money. Like, people joke about it now, but it's literally like, I want to not be in this business.
Mm-hmm. And you look at, I mean, on the podcast, she talks about how his favorite thing was building bikes like bicycles, and he wanted to open a bicycle shop. Just to be a simple man, just to have a simple thing, and just it's horrible. But
I think what's also disgusting is the Harts basically excommunicated her.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. When she
like, because they're not being funny. Like the Hart, apparently Brett's good with her, but like apparently, well, to be fair, like the rest of the Harts are just pure carnies. Like, they basically wanted to keep a relationship with WWE, and then you cut to years later, and Bruce Hart keeps shooting on WWE for no reason. Because, like, weekly podcast reminder, Bruce Hart is the worst.
I think people should still watch it, and
it's a tough watch.
People will watch.
Massive trigger warning, like, unbelievable theme. Like, it's literally potentially triggering content, so like, if that concerns you, don't watch it. But
I think the Benoit upset me more.
Because the Benoit one is like more. We compare, like, at a certain point, all tragedies are on the same level, but like the Benoit one has so much more backstory. There's so much more to go into. And like this was like one isolated, really, really shitty fucking thing. Whereas Benoit's one spoke more to the culture of wrestling at the time.
When I was watching it as well, what I kept thinking is, because the word is that he hit his head on the turnbuckle and that's what killed him.
Mm-hmm.
If he'd been like 10 paces to the other side and he'd hit just the mat, would he have lived?
It's still doubtful. It's 80 feet, man.
Yeah. It's horrible to think. But you could talk all night about it, but yeah. It's a good watch.
The TLDR is he was a great man and fuck for Fed.
This is the federation that's countersued his grieving widow so that they wouldn't have to pay punitive damages.
That's disgusting. That's so disgusting.
Yeah, just think about that for a second. The show took place in Missouri, and if Vince McMahon was sued in Missouri, then he would have to pay punitive damages. So he countersued a grieving widow, the widow of the man he'd just scooped up the dead body out of the ring and then carried on with his show. They then countersued to try and get the case sent to Connecticut so that he wouldn't have to pay punitive damages. So the poor woman had to then hire solicitors to fight what was effectively a completely fruitless lawsuit. So even though, I don't even think the WWE really thought that anyone else was to blame apart from them. But the fact that they would do this, the fact that they would attack a woman who's lost her husband is absolutely disgraceful. And you can warp it however you want, but and I'm going to end on this. Jim Cornette says it perfectly. How the fuck can you continue with a show when a man has just died?
Mm-hmm.
That's not humanitarian. I don't understand how this can happen. And it goes to, and this can sound really weird, it goes to show just how much this affected Jim Cornette, because he doesn't mention Vince Russo once. And usually he will blame Russo.
I'm pretty sure he shouts out the name Vince Russo at the point of climax.
Lovely cum face from Jim Cornette. Do you know who else really, really upset me? Genuinely, Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
When he comes back from, my god, it's disgusting. It's horrible.
Like, I don't know how. Like JR kept it together. How the fuck did he keep it together? Like,
the man is a true professional.
Poor man, fuck Kevin Dunn.
The thing is, Chris, he shouldn't have to. He shouldn't have had to keep it together. You shouldn't have to ask the Undertaker, who's just seen Owen Hart's dead body wheeled past him, then go on and have a 23-minute match.
Yeah, no, literally, I don't WWE's stance on Owen Hart's death is basically summed up by he's dead. You're on in 10, 9, 8. Like, how? Fuck Kevin Dunn.
Yeah. Russo hasn't helped himself by claiming that the night he passed away, I'm sure Owen would have wanted the same thing. The fact that basically people went on with the show.
I think there's a reason they kept Russo off of the documentary, because they clearly had him. I think
so, yeah.
Because he appeared elsewhere in the series as in Brawl for All one, so...
Well, it's hard to do a Brawl for All episode and not have Vince Russo in it, to be fair.
I still love that he basically made Brawl for All because he didn't like Bradshaw very much.
It's amazing. Let's move on, because genuinely, if we talk any more about this poor man's death, I think I'm going to cry, because it is a hard watch, but it's a compelling watch in a horrible way. I know that sounds vile. You just want to see justice done. And his wife doesn't think that the justice was done. I personally don't think justice was done either.
Nothing happened. But they didn't lose anything.
They lost, £18 million or $18 million was the settlement.
That's the drop in a pond for them.
But you know what? She's done amazing things with it. And you know what? That woman deserves all the plaudits in the world, because how strong she had to be for two young children and to set up and do everything that she has done in Owen's name. You just got to applaud her. There's nothing else you can do, because I know I couldn't react like that if that had happened to me. And the fact that she did, and the fact that she's done what she's done, and she's set up this incredible charity in his name and done all this great stuff in his name, absolutely amazing. So Martha Hart's absolutely incredible woman. Absolutely incredible. Anyway, let's move on. Last item on the agenda. Saturday is Double or Nothing 2020, guys. That has come out of literally fucking nowhere.
We said the same thing about Double or Nothing last year.
We did. Well, no, that's not technically true. What we did was we were so excited for ages and ages and ages and ages because it was Double or Nothing. Literally, I don't think Garth slept the entire week leading up to it. But it got to a point where it was like, oh my God, it's Saturday. Fuck. Oh my God. And that was what happened. I don't think it was a case of... whereas this time, obviously, with it being empty arena shows and things like that, I don't think there is the same buzz regarding it. And for all intents and purposes, I don't think the go home was very good either. But obviously, with it being AEW Double or Nothing, we are going to give our official PodMania predictions. So, guys,
on this one.
You can't dick about on this one. This is the official one, I'm afraid, mate.
Shit.
So what we'll do is we'll read through the card and we'll each give our predictions for it. So we'll start with the pre-show, where we have a number one contendership match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships with Private Party taking on the Best Friends. Chris, who have you got?
Best Friends.
Okay, yeah. Garth?
I'm going Private Party. Just try and mix
Okay.
up.
Fair enough. I'm going Best Friends. Partly because the amount of wrestling they've done over the past couple of weeks, they seem to have been the only legitimate tag team that have, apart from SCU, that have stopped on the entire time. So, yeah, I think they deserve a shot at the championships. I don't think they'll win it, but there we are. Moving on then, we have a singles match that's been added to the card because, and I quote from Jim Ross, because why not? Genuinely, that is what he said on commentary, because why
9
not?
matches wasn't enough.
We have Dustin Rhodes versus Sean Spears in the Who Cares match.
Yeah, who cares?
Garth, who have you got?
Spears, because he needs a win.
I'm going to go Spears as well, because I think they're going to do something with Dustin Rhodes' retirement. Chris?
Dustin, because he looks like Darth Maul, and I like that in a wrestler.
Let's move on to singles match then. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, who actually sustained what looked like a fairly nasty injury, actually, on Dynamite. So this match might actually not be on the card. She's taking on Chris Statlander. We'll put it on anyway, but there is a chance that this one could get scrubbed because it did look quite nasty, actually.
It's just going to end. It's like the dog in Itchy and Scratchy. It's like Chris Statlander goes off to a home planet and dies on the way.
Chris, who have you got?
Chris Statlander, because both of you are grumpy old men and don't like her, and I want her to win.
It's because he's shit.
I like
Garth.
I've got Statlander as well.
Damn it, Garth, you underlined my point. Can I change my answer? No.
Hey.
I'm going to go Britt Baker, because genuinely, the heel work she's doing is genuinely quite entertaining.
Yeah, I hope she isn't injured. That'd be a real kick in the teeth.
You're a fucking idiot.
Oh my god.
I'm really proud of that pun.
Singles match, MJF versus Jungle Boy.
MJF.
Chris?
Do we even have to discuss this?
No. I imagine all three of us have got MJF.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. We'll go on to the tournament final for the AEW TNT Championship.
Oh, this one
Cody.
being refereed by rapist Mike Tyson.
It's not being reffed by rapist Mike Tyson. The belt is being presented by rapist Mike Tyson.
I'm sorry.
Cody versus Lance Archer. Chris, who have you got?
Archer.
Okay, I'm going to agree with you. I think Archer's got more to win from this. Garth?
I'm going to go Cody.
Of course, you want your mark.
Just because of what happened this week.
What, you got another tattoo?
Where Jake laid out Brandy and put the snake on her.
Oh, that was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, sorry, aye.
Yeah,
Payback.
where he mounted her and got all weird on her.
Yeah.
It sounds like Jake.
Yeah, he's got proper sleazy old man on her a couple of times.
Trust me.
It's not like
It's the
Cody
voice.
did not-
I don't like the voice.
It's just the second person to sexually harass Brandy, and Cody's done nothing.
I think she loves it.
I like before Garth was watching it, going, "Oh yeah, you love it, you slag."
Well, that's why she gets herself on the show every fucking week.
Moving on to Women's Championship, which is no disqualification and no count out. I don't really think the build has warranted either of those stipulations, but there we are.
Isn't every match that
Nyla
anyway?
Rose. Well,
In
the way they
AEW.
referee it, yeah. Nyla Rose champion taking on Hikaru Shida. Garth, have you got?
Nyla Rose, I don't think her reign's ready to end yet.
Chris?
I'm going to go Shida just because she seems more willing to turn up for the weekly show.
I don't think it's a case of being willing, Chris. Jesus, there's a pandemic.
Willing was probably a bad, but she seems to be more available on the weekly show.
Again, it's not about being available. You're supposed to stop at home.
Right, yeah, but okay, it's the same reason you're going for best friends.
Right, okay, so what you're saying is because she's wrestled the matches.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think.
all right.
I think basically, yeah.
I don't think it's fair for her to drop the title just because she's
No, I
not
wouldn't
been
do
turning
that.
up to
But
the...
also, like, Shida's been getting fairly over the last few months, and Nyla's been held on to that title for almost 6 months now. So
I'm going to go Nyla Rose as well. I think to lose the belt, I feel like there's got to be a crowd. I just genuinely, I know it sounds stupid. You're right, Chris. Hikaru Shida is over, but to then have her win, I mean, look what he's done for Drew. Drew, luckily, is a charismatic fucker, and he's great. But that moment versus Brock Lesnar should have been so much more.
like when he beat Brock Lesnar in a minute, imagine that with the crowd.
Exactly. Let's move on to the Casino Ladder match for a future AEW World Championship match. So basically, it's Money in the Bank. And so far confirmed, we have Darby Allin, Colt Cabana, Orange Cassidy, Rey Fenix, Scorpio Sky, Kip Sabian, Frankie Kazarian, Luchasaurus, and one more to be announced at the actual pay-per-view. So, yeah, of course it's going to be CM Punk. Chris, who have you got and why?
I'm tempted to go mystery just because that'd be fun, but I'm going to go with Darby.
Makes sense. Yep. Makes sense. Garth?
I'm going to go Scorpio Sky because I called it the other day that he's going to be in it. And I think before this shit had stopped, they've been really building him up as a singles guy. They've put him in a lot more singles matches, and he
had a title shot against Jericho, didn't he?
Yeah. And he was getting most of...
Wasn't that basically built off of him going backstage going, Scorpio Sky, you idiot, you're never getting a shot?
Yeah. And he's seems to be picking up all the wins when SCU have been winning. And I think the fact that Kazarian's in there might have something to do with it. Either he's going to screw him over, like he's going to sacrifice Kazarian to get it, or Kazarian's going to help him get it.
Okay.
Fun fact, for Scorpio Sky, a former ant in the colony.
Really?
Do you know what? You mention the colony too much on this podcast.
They're great. I love
them. Let's go to the AEW World Championship match then.
You didn't say who you
John Mox.
Yeah, you didn't say.
Oh, I didn't. Sorry. I'm getting Darby as well.
Who do we think? Who do we think is going to be the mystery competitor?
The Manhattan Mauler. Wait, is this official prediction? Then no, that fucked me at Bound for Glory.
Do you want to make it an official prediction?
Might as well.
Let's do it.
Tuffy?
I wrote down 4.
God damn it, guys.
Okay, there is only going to be one guy.
Unless the colony debut.
Shut up. Who's going to go first?
Go on, Garth. Who are you going to go
who's
for?
on your list, Garth?
I've written down Matt Cardona, a.k.a. Zack Ryder.
Okay.
Hangman Page.
Isn't he even the main event?
He's in the main event.
That's not me. Or Wardlow.
Wardlow would be interesting. I'm a go with... I'm going to assume it's a recent release.
Drew Gulak can do it.
Gulak, but like they announced this ages ago. Like I doubt they'd have Gulak in place while we're still under contract.
Rusev.
I'm gonna go with Rusev.
I'm gonna go Zack Ryder. Whatever he's called now.
Matt Cardona, I think. Oh bollocks! I was going to have him.
You can.
I feel like I need to have some. No, I feel like I need to have someone decent. Someone different, even.
Say Hawkins.
I mean, it feels like it's got to be someone different, doesn't it?
Mike Tyson.
Someone recently released. Mike Tyson. Oh my god! Imagine. I'm gonna go EC3.
Ooh.
Trouble.
I mean, the state of his Instagram, he is in absolutely phenomenal shit. I don't know if he's got a 90-day non-compete clause. Oh, bollocks. Actually, I don't know if that's the same for Rusev either. or whether they just released him and said, have at. I can't see him
we
doing
spend
that.
more time on this than any other match.
Brian Cage is out
Right,
there now.
Is he? Has he been released?
His contract ended with Impact, and he hasn't been doing anything.
Sorry, who?
Brian Cage.
Oh yeah, but isn't he injured right now? Didn't he have a
Well, that's
shoulder
the thing.
injury?
He's been like healing up, but from what I've been seeing on like Twitter and stuff, he looks like he's sort of back and ready.
He looks like a machine.
Yeah.
Could it be Skrull?
No, he owns Ring of Honor, surely.
He books for Ring of Honor, but he is on the NWA as well. And I know they have a working partnership, but...
Yeah, but like there's a difference between like NWA, who's basically just another indie fed, and AEW.
I know, but... Could be, though, couldn't it? No, I'm gonna stick with
I think
EC3.
he's a good show.
Let's go to the main of... Oh, no. Let's go to the semi-main, because let's face it, this
Match.
isn't main eventing anything.
The title. We forgot about the title match. This is like when Kane took on Seth Rollins.
Let's be perfectly honest, mate. This isn't going to main event.
No.
John Moxley versus Brody Lee. Chris, who have you got?
I'm annoyed that they're spunking Brody Lee up, because we mentioned this last week. There's no good way to book this.
No, not
Either
at all.
you waste Moxley, he's probably your biggest star right now. You waste Lee, who's this up-and-coming gimmick, or you do a screw finish. There's no way for this to end satisfyingly. I'm going to say Moxley, because honestly, if we take the title off him right now, what's the point?
I'm going to say Moxie, but I'll be surprised if it isn't like screw finish. He wins by DQ.
They haven't done any of those finishes in title matches yet. None. And I wonder if they're trying to distance themselves, because that's a very... I hate saying this. That's a very WWE way of booking out of it. Because you look at it, if this is a WWE pay-per-view, you automatically assume, well, neither of them can afford to use screwy finish. We booked South out of the corner. I don't think AEW were going to do that.
So, again, there's no good way for this to end.
Which... You've got to keep Brody Lee really, really strong in this. Otherwise, you risk burying the character.
Maybe have someone on the inner circle try to get in, and then like they fuck up. Moxley wins by roll up or something, just barely survives Brody Lee, and then Brody Lee destroys some members of the Dark Order.
I imagine that's probably what's going to happen. I'm getting Moxley as well, but only because I don't see Brody Lee as the top guy. I just don't. Not in this incarnation, anyway. And if I'm being brutally honest, it's not a main event match. And do you have the AEW World Championship, your highest title, change hands when it's not even the main event? I don't think so. So I'm going to go Moxley. We then move on to a Stadium Stampede match. And if this is pre-taped, this is going to be the funniest thing I've ever seen. With the Elite... Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, and Adam Page, and then Matt Hardy taking on the Inner Circle, Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, and then Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz. I honestly do not know what to expect from this, because this is just going to be absolute fucking chaos.
Mayhem.
Chris, who have you got?
Inner Circle, because we need to keep this going till they can do War Games, unless they have to extend it. But like they're going to do War Games at some point, so Elite, the Inner Circle win, because Jericho needs a win back. He hasn't won yet this year, and
he beat Sugar Dunkinton last
week. Oh
yeah.
Okay. Disregard that. The Elite is it's still going to be the Inner Circle winning.
And they beat Kenny Omega and Matt Hardy 2 weeks ago.
I haven't watched the product since we started doing reviews. I'm still going with Inner Circle. Heels win, and then faces chase them. Simple psychology.
Okay, Garth.
Inner Circle, yeah. It seems like they've kind of got the upper hand recently.
Their Zoom meetings have been very productive.
The Elite honestly, like...
Also, the Elite are fractured right now.
Yeah. Did we speak about the golf court thing?
That's the best thing all year.
It's the best thing, and it's now became one of the best memes of all time as well.
It really has. Really has.
Yeah, definitely in the circle for me.
I mean, they've been teasing that stuff with Adam Page again. It's the Bucks' return as well. Nick Jackson coming off the back of that devastating garage door injury.
To the face.
I mean, I'm just trying to see if there's enough matches different between me and Chris.
Stop it.
There's loads. I'm going to go in a circle as well.
I think you picked the same as me on the other ones because you know I'm going to make a stupid pick at some point based on how I feel.
So let's just run through our official predictions then. Pre-show tag match: Chris, best friends; Garth, private party; me, best friends. We've then got. I'm just trying to work out who DR is. Who the fuck's DR? Oh, Dustin Rhodes for Chris, Sean Spears for me, and Garth.
On the match. How hard is it to figure out?
I haven't put them in order. That's why they're not in order on Wikipedia. Chris and Garth have gone for Chris Statlander. I've gone for Britt Baker. All three of us have gone for MJF. Me and Chris have gone for Lance Archer. Garth has been a massive mark and gone for Cody. Chris has gone for Hikaru Shida. Myself and Garth have gone for Nyla Rose. The ladder match. I think this is the first time in PodMania history where there's been a ladder match and two of us have come up with the same person. With Chris and myself going for Darby Allin and Garth going for Scorpio Sky. Mystery opponent, we've gone... Chris has gone Rusev. Garth has gone Matt Cardona, or Zack Ryder as he was known, and I've gone EC3. We've all gone John Moxley. We've all gone the Inner Circle. Very, very quickly then, lads. Are we looking forward to Double or Nothing?
Well, what is worth looking forward to now? Actually, you know what's worth looking forward to? I'm getting a takeaway tomorrow, and I'm really excited about that pizza. Oh my god! But I guess I'm looking forward to just new wrestling in general. Like the only new wrestling I've watched in the past few weeks has been the All Japan show from the other day, and that was fine. So this will probably be better. So like in relative terms, yes, I'm looking forward to it, but also like I just look forward to going to bed every night, so I don't need to be conscious for a few hours. So,
just a simple, just once, a simple fucking yes. Garth, are you looking forward to this show?
Yeah, I'm not as excited as I was last time, so I doubt I'll watch it live, but I'll catch on Sunday, I think.
Yeah. It's different. It's difficult, isn't it, without a crowd and the current state of wrestling?
We could do a watch long.
Not for 2 hours. Not for 3 hours, mate. Not for 3 fucking hours.
Then again, if it's 3 hours,
Absolutely
I think we all need to be in the same hotel room and drunk. So essentially, we'll see you in Blackpool.
We should just watch the Stadium Stampede as a watch along.
Well, like we did for the Rumbles.
Maybe we'll see. We'll do some on air production meetings. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that just about wraps up this week in wrestling. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week on Friday for another week in wrestling where we'll be going through this card along with some other bits of wrestling news. In the meantime, you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, wherever you get them. You can talk to us on Twitter at PodMania. Join the Facebook group, PodMania Podcast. Don't forget to check out the website, www.podmania.co.uk, where you can check out all of our podcasts in the archive and our match ratings. You can talk to me on Twitter at RealRobGoodwin. Garth, where can they find you?
Mania.
And Chris?
And Bushi.
And we will be back next week. We'll talk to you again. Same time, same place. Goodbye.
You've been listening to the PodMania Pro Wrestling Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at PodMania, Facebook at PodMania Podcasts, and YouTube and Instagram at Real PodMania. And check out the website podmania.co.uk. Until next time, wrestling fans.